A young woman, haunted by the brutal murder of her family, discovers her true heritage as a gifted ballerina with a hidden past. Fueled by an insatiable thirst for vengeance, she meticulously hones her deadly skills within a clandestine assassin network, transforming her elegant dance movements into a lethal art form. Her quest for justice leads her into the treacherous underworld of the High Table, where every step on her path to retribution is a ballet of bullets and blood.
Stand by.
You should get out of the way.
Rip. Oversized triangle. Just leave. this system. Is your
Hey guys, today we dive deep into the world of graceful destruction with the highly anticipated film Ballerina. Get ready for a story where pirouettes meet headshots and pliés lead directly to assassinations. It's like the high table decided to open an extreme dance studio, and honestly, I'm here for it. This isn't just about a woman with a grudge, it's about a woman who can kill you with a twirl, and let me tell you, that's a whole new level of don't mess with me. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more. Our story opens with a scene that drips with the kind of melancholic beauty that only a truly tragic past can create. We see a young girl, barely on the cusp of adolescence, her face alight with an innocent joy as she watches her family from a distance. The soft golden light of what we can assume is a perfect afternoon bathes the idyllic home, but the warmth of that light is quickly, brutally snuffed out. The camera doesn't dwell on the graphic details, instead focusing on the immediate aftermath, the sudden, horrifying silence that follows a cacophony of unseen violence, the abrupt cessation of life's mundane sounds. The girl, Rooney, hidden and paralyzed by fear, witnesses the unspeakable. The world shrinks to the sound of her own ragged breathing, a stark contrast to the distant muffled thuds and a single echoing gunshot that seals her fate, shattering her childhood into 1,000 irreparable pieces. The perpetrators, shadowy figures moving with practiced efficiency, leave no trace beyond the devastation. Her world, once vibrant and full of love, becomes a cold, empty stage, forcing her to flee into the anonymity of the night, leaving behind everything she ever knew. Years later, we find Rooney not as the frightened child, but as an adult, honed by a harsh reality. She exists on the fringes, a ghost in plain sight. Her outward appearance is that of a disciplined ballerina, a performer whose every movement is precise, controlled, and aesthetically perfect. We see her in a rigorous training sequence, the sweat beading on her forehead as she executes a series of flawless fouetté turns, each rotation a testament to her unwavering focus. The creak of the polished studio floor beneath her pointe shoes, the rhythmic thud of her landings, the strained breath she holds, every detail paints a picture of intense physical exertion. But this isn't just about art, it's about survival, about channeling raw emotion into disciplined power. Her life is a carefully constructed facade, a performance designed to mask the burning inferno of vengeance within her. By day, she glides across stages, captivating audiences with her grace. By night, she navigates the shadowed alleys and hidden corners of the underworld, a meticulous scavenger of information. She's not just looking for clues, she's looking for names, for faces, for the threads that connect to that one devastating night. Her investigation is a slow burn, punctuated by clandestine meetings in dimly lit taverns, where the clinking of glasses and hushed conversations are the soundtrack. She sifts through encrypted data chips that hum with barely contained secrets, exchanging favors and information with the kind of unsavory characters who populate the fringes of any major city. Each piece of information she acquires, no matter how small, is a step closer to the truth, a new weight added to the scales of her retribution. The pivotal moment arrives when she finally uncovers a solid lead. It's a name, whispered in a grimy back room, a piece of a puzzle that slots into place with a chilling sense of inevitability. The name points to a shadowy organization, a specific faction operating within the vast, intricate network of the High Table, the very same organization that dictates the rules of the assassin world John Wick himself knows all too well. This revelation isn't just a shock, it's a seismic shift, transforming her personal quest into something far more dangerous, far more expansive. The air suddenly feels charged with electricity, the distant hum of the city now a prelude to a storm. She knows, with a certainty that settles deep in her bones, that she is no longer just seeking revenge. She is challenging a system, stepping onto a stage far grander and deadlier than any ballet performance. The game has changed, and Rooney, with a glint in her eye that speaks of both terror and resolve, is ready to play. Her journey truly begins when she intentionally steps into the crosshairs of the high table. It's not a mistake, it's a calculated move. She orchestrates a high-profile public incident that screams unauthorized kill to the underworld, a signal flare announcing her presence. The target isn't random. It's a minor figure, connected just enough to the faction she suspects, ensuring her actions won't be ignored. The setting is a bustling marketplace, a vibrant tapestry of sights and sounds. The chatter of vendors, the rustle of fabrics, the aroma of spices and fresh produce. Rooney, disguised in plain clothes, moves with a fluid grace that belies the deadly intent in her heart. She approaches her target with a seemingly innocent bump, a whisper of an apology, and then, in a blink, the deed is done. A silent, swift movement, a specialized blade vanishing as quickly as it appeared, leaving the target collapsing without a sound, blending seamlessly into the chaos of the crowd. No one notices the precise incision, the lack of struggle. They only notice the man falling. The subtle shift in the market's energy, a momentary lull before the general public reacts to a sudden death, is her cue to vanish. This act, while meticulously executed, marks her as a rogue element. The message is received loud and clear by the underworld. A new player has entered the game, one who disregards the established protocols. Soon after, a chill seeps into her carefully constructed life. She receives the ominous markers of high-table attention, cryptic messages slipped under her door, shadowed figures following her movements, the distinct hum of professional surveillance. It's like receiving a 5-star review from the deadliest critics in the world, only instead of a commendation, it's a death warrant. This is a universe where even the act of ordering pizza probably involves a discreet information exchange. She knows she needs to level up, not just her combat skills, but her understanding of this brutal, intricate world. This leads her to a clandestine ballet school, hidden beneath the elegant facade of a crumbling theater. This isn't just any school, it's a training ground for assassins, a place where the art of dance is seamlessly intertwined with the art of killing. The director, a stern, enigmatic woman with eyes that hold centuries of secrets and the posture of a monarch, presides over this grim academy. Her voice, a low rasp, commands absolute obedience. Rooney approaches her, not with defiance, but with a plea for knowledge, for refinement. The director initially dismisses her, testing her resolve with a brutal sparring match. The sounds of impact echo in the cavernous training hall, the sharp crack of a wooden staff against a padded shield, the breathless grunts of exertion, the rhythmic thud of bodies hitting the mat. Rooney endures, pushes through the pain, proving her dedication not just with strength, but with an almost spiritual tenacity. The director, seeing a flicker of something she recognizes, perhaps a similar fire that once burned in her own past, reluctantly takes Rooney under her wing. The training sequences here are brutal, elegant, and utterly mesmerizing. We see Rooney perfecting her close-quarters combat, integrating her balletic movements into a devastating fighting style. A grand jeté becomes an evasive maneuver followed by a crippling kick. A graceful pirouette transforms into a momentum-generating spin, setting up a disorienting elbow strike. The movements are fluid, almost beautiful, yet each strike carries a bone-shattering force. The emphasis is on precision, economy of motion, and lethal efficiency. She learns to use everyday objects as weapons. A scarf becomes a garrote, a hair clip a lockpick, a broken mirror shard a precise cutting tool. The clatter of falling weapons, the grunts of her trainers, the whoosh of air as a punch narrowly misses, these are the new sounds of her education. The director's stern corrections, sharp and to the point, echo through the practice rooms, pushing Rooney beyond her perceived limits. "Grace without purpose is just a pretty picture, child," she barks. "Purpose without grace is just brute force. Combine them and you are unstoppable." It's a bit like watching a particularly intense dance reality show if the prize was survival and the judges had actual knives. During this period, Rooney makes contact with a familiar face from the Wickverse, Winston. In the opulent, hushed lobby of the Continental, amidst the quiet clinking of crystal and the low murmur of sophisticated conversations, Rooney approaches the legendary manager. Winston, ever the picture of refined composure, acknowledges her with a knowing nod, his eyes betraying a subtle hint of curiosity. He is aware of her existence, aware of her recent unauthorized activities. Their conversation is a masterclass in subtext and veiled warnings. Winston, leaning slightly forward, his hands clasped, offers cryptic advice. He speaks of the rules, the consequences, the inevitable gravitational pull of the high table. He knows her target, not explicitly by name, but by association, understanding the delicate balance she is disrupting. The rustle of a newspaper being turned, the distant chime of an antique clock, the gentle creak of a leather armchair. These minor sounds amplify the tension in their exchange. He doesn't condone her actions, but he doesn't condemn them either, operating under the Continental's unwavering neutrality. He simply offers a path, a contact, a piece of information that might, just might, help her navigate the treacherous waters she has willingly entered. He stresses the cost, the toll it will take. Rooney listens intently, her face a mask of determination, absorbing his words, understanding the heavy implications. She knows that in this world, even friendly advice comes with a price. Armed with Winston's veiled assistance and her refined skills, Rooney tracks her next target to a sprawling, pulsating nightclub, a neon-drenched labyrinth of sound and sensation. The bass thumps like a relentless heartbeat, vibrating through the floor and rattling the very air. The flashing strobe lights cut through the smoke and sweat, creating a disorienting, almost hallucinating environment. This is where her balletic assassin style truly shines. She moves through the grinding, oblivious crowd like a phantom, her silhouette momentarily illuminated by a strobing light, then swallowed by shadow. The target, a high table operative, is surrounded by a contingent of bodyguards, hulking figures with the subtlety of brick walls. The first confrontation ignites on the dance floor. Rooney feigns a stumble, bumping into one of the guards, her hand snaking out in a blur of motion. A silent shot rings out, almost imperceptible amidst the deafening electronic music, and the guard collapses without a sound, his body absorbed by the dancing masses before anyone can react. The smell of expensive perfume and cheap alcohol mixes with the faint scent of gunpowder. The remaining guards, alerted but disoriented by the chaos, begin to push through the crowd. Rooney is a whirlwind of motion, a rapid succession of close-quarter strikes. The crack of bone against bone, the grunt of pain, the whoosh of a high kick that sends a bouncer sprawling. She uses the environment to her advantage, scaling a speaker stack with the grace of a trapeze artist, launching herself into a group of guards below. The impact is brutal, sending them scattering like bowling pins. A discarded champagne bottle becomes a temporary bludgeon, its heavy glass connecting with a sickening thud. The flash of a knife, caught in the strobe light, is a momentary gleam before it finds its mark. She isn't just fighting, she's dancing a deadly pas de deux, each movement calculated, each strike precise. The thudding bass, the high-pitched synth notes, the distant roar of the crowd become the soundtrack to her ballet of destruction. She finally corners her target in a VIP booth, the man's eyes wide with fear, and with a swift, clean move, exacts her justice, leaving him slumped against the velvet upholstery as the music rages on, oblivious to the silent death that just occurred. Another name crossed off her list, another step deeper into the dark. This bold move, however, merely escalates the situation. The High Table, now fully aware of the threat she poses, dispatches an elite team of enforcers. These aren't just your run-of-the-mill thugs. These are top-tier professionals, each with a specific skill set, working in brutal unison. They corner Rooney in a dimly lit industrial district, a place where the air smells of oil and damp concrete. The metallic clang of a dropped wrench echoes in the vast space, the distant hiss of escaping steam adding to the oppressive atmosphere. The first wave comes at her in a coordinated assault, their movements swift and silent. Rooney dodges, weaves, and counters, her ballet training allowing her to predict and react with impossible speed. The sharp report of a silenced pistol, the whiz of a throwing knife narrowly missing her head, the brutal impact of a tactical baton. She navigates the onslaught with a desperate precision. She uses the environment to her advantage, scaling metal scaffolding, swinging from dangling chains, kicking off support beams to gain leverage. The crunch of shattered concrete underfoot, the scraping sound of her shoes on rusted metal, the urgent whispers of the enforcers communicating in quick, clipped tones. These sensory details immerse us in the high-stakes encounter. One particular enforcer, a hulking brute with a cybernetic arm, proves to be a formidable challenge. His enhanced strength makes his punches feel like direct impacts from a battering ram, each miss creating a forceful gust of wind that rustles her hair. Rooney struggles to find an opening, parrying his blows, searching for a weakness. She finally uses her agility, sliding beneath a sweeping punch, twisting and leveraging her entire body weight into a precisely aimed kick to his knee, followed by a rapid-fire series of strikes to his exposed neck. The hiss of his hydraulic arm malfunctioning, a pathetic gurgle, and he falls, defeated. She might be a ballerina, but she also clearly took lessons from a wrecking ball. Her victory is short-lived. Just as she recovers, another figure emerges from the shadows, a rival assassin, an old acquaintance perhaps, or someone sent specifically to test her. This isn't a direct enemy of her family. This is a cleaner, someone hired to tie up loose ends, and Rooney is definitely a loose end. Their fight is less about brute force and more about technique, a deadly dance of two masters. The rhythmic clack of their blades meeting, the controlled breathing, the almost imperceptible shifts in their stances. It's a silent, focused duel. Rooney's unique style surprises her opponent, who is accustomed to more traditional combat. She twists, pivots, and lunges with an unpredictable grace, her movements flowing like water, constantly shifting, never giving a solid target. The metallic ring of her short blade against his longer, more traditional one fills the air, a series of urgent chimes. She finally gains the upper hand, disarming him with a lightning-fast maneuver, the clatter of his weapon echoing in the vast space. She chooses not to kill him, a subtle nod to the unspoken rules of this world, or perhaps a tactical decision to send a message back to the High Table. She is not just an executioner, she is a force to be reckoned with. She leaves him bruised and disarmed, a stark warning, and melts back into the night, the sounds of her rapid footsteps fading into the industrial hum. The escalating pressure and the sheer number of high-table operatives force Rooney to make a difficult decision. She realizes her revenge quest is not just a personal vendetta, it's a direct assault on the very foundations of the assassin world. To win, she needs allies, or at the very least, a diversion. She seeks out Sharon, the stoic concierge of the Continental, for discreet assistance. Their meeting is brief, almost wordless, taking place in a hidden alcove of the Continental's pristine, quiet halls. Sharon, with his unflappable demeanor and eyes that miss nothing, already anticipates her request. A quiet nod, a subtle gesture, and a keycard is slipped into her hand. It's a key to a safe house, a neutral ground, a place where she can regroup and plan her next move without immediate threat. The low hum of the building's ventilation system, the distant murmur of guests, the almost imperceptible rustle of Sharon's suit as he moves, these are the only sounds in the tense exchange. He offers no words of encouragement, only silent, professional understanding. He also provides her with a burner phone, its new plastic casing feeling oddly alien in her grip, a device meant for one-time, untraceable communication. The message is clear. She's on her own, but not entirely without resources, a true testament to the Continental's complex role in this universe. The safe house is sparse, functional, devoid of personal touches, a typical high-table establishment. Here, Rooney meticulously plans her next move. She uses the burner phone to make a single encrypted call, reaching out to an old contact, a ghost from her past. This is someone she hasn't spoken to in years, a fellow outcast from the ballet world, someone who understands the darkness she now inhabits. The connection is fragile, punctuated by static, but the voice on the other end is instantly recognizable, laced with a weary familiarity. She needs information, access codes, anything that can grant her entry into the heavily fortified compound of the man she now identifies as the true mastermind behind her family's murder. A powerful, ruthless figure within the high table's upper echelons. This contact, an expert in surveillance and digital infiltration, reluctantly agrees to help, but not without a stern warning. You're walking into a fire, Rooney. Don't expect me to pull you out. The click of the phone disconnecting leaves Rooney in deafening silence, surrounded by the weight of her impending mission. Her target's compound is an imposing fortress, a modern architectural marvel nestled within a sprawling estate, guarded by layers of sophisticated security. High walls topped with razor wire gleam under the moonlight, motion sensors hum subtly, and surveillance cameras pan with relentless vigilance. Armed guards patrol the perimeter, their footsteps crunching on gravel, their radio communications a low, unintelligible murmur. Rooney, using the information provided by her contact, infiltrates the compound with a mixture of stealth and raw courage. She navigates the laser grids with balletic precision, her body twisting and contorting to avoid detection. The faint whir of the security system, the almost imperceptible click of a pressure plate, the distant bark of a guard dog, every sound is magnified in the tense silence. She encounters the first line of defense inside, a team of heavily armed guards stationed in a brightly lit corridor. This isn't a stealth mission anymore, it's a direct assault. The crack of her silenced pistol is barely audible as she takes down the first two guards with swift, precise headshots. The soft thud of their bodies hitting the carpeted floor is followed by the metallic clang of their dropped weapons. The remaining guards open fire, their assault rifles barking, sending a volley of bullets tearing through the air, carving gouges in the pristine walls. Rooney, a blur of motion, ducks behind a marble statue, the sound of chipping stone as bullets ricochet off it. She returns fire, her movements economical, each shot counting. The air fills with the acrid smell of gunpowder. She moves through the corridor, using the limited cover, her movements a deadly dance between evasion and attack. A hand-to-hand skirmish breaks out with a particularly aggressive guard, whose punches land with bone-jarring force. Rooney deflects, weaves, and counters, finally snapping his wrist with a sickening crack before knocking him unconscious with a swift elbow to the temple. Deeper within the compound, she finds herself in a lavish dining hall, ornate and sprawling, where another team of guards awaits, alerted by the commotion. This time, they are ready. Rooney uses the environment to her advantage. She sends a heavy antique dining table crashing into the advancing guards, the splintering wood and clatter of china creating a momentary diversion. The sharp ringing of shattered glass as she throws a priceless vase at another guard's head, followed by a grunt of pain. She disarms one of them, turning his own rifle against his comrades, the rapid-fire bursts echoing deafeningly in the grand hall. She moves with a savage grace, her body a weapon, taking down guard after guard in a whirlwind of kicks, punches, and precise weapon strikes. The thud of bodies hitting the polished floor, the groans of the injured, the frantic shouts of command, the hall transforms into a brutal arena. She finally reaches the command center, a room bristling with computer screens and surveillance monitors, where her ultimate target, the ruthless crime lord, awaits. He is not alone. Several personal bodyguards, each a formidable fighter, stand ready. The crime lord, a man whose casual elegance hides a chilling cruelty, watches Rooney with a cold, appraising stare. He smirks, a gesture of confidence, believing her to be just another assassin. "So, the little dancer comes to play?" he drawls, his voice smooth and contemptuous. Rooney responds not with words, but with a fierce intensity in her eyes, a silent promise of retribution. The final confrontation erupts. Rooney, now fueled by a lifetime of suppressed rage, unleashes her full fury. The battle is a symphony of violence, a brutal ballet. She takes on the bodyguards first, their coordinated attacks designed to overwhelm. She uses their own momentum against them, pirouetting out of the way of a swinging fist, only to deliver a devastating knee to the gut of another. The sounds are sharp, visceral, the crack of a kick connecting with a jaw, the whoosh of a blade being parried, the guttural screams of pain. She dodges a barrage of gunfire, the bullets sparking against the reinforced walls, before closing the distance and disarming her assailants with brutal efficiency. The clang of dropped firearms, the heavy thud of unconscious bodies, the frantic shouts of the crime lord urging his men on, all contribute to the cacophony. Finally, it's just Rooney and the crime lord. He reveals a hidden blade, a beautifully crafted piece of artistry, mirroring the elegance she herself embodies. Their duel is intimate, ferocious, a clash of contrasting styles. He fights with raw power and honed aggression, every move designed to maim. Rooney, however, weaves and dances, her movements a blur of evasive grace, always seeking an opening. The metallic whisper of their blades sliding against each other fills the room, a chilling testament to their deadly ballet. He lands a glancing blow, slicing her arm, a sharp gasp escaping her lips, the sudden sting of pain momentarily distracting her. But her resolve only hardens. She sees her family's faces in his eyes, hears their last screams in his taunts. She uses a precise sequence of balletic maneuvers, a series of quick spins and low sweeps, throwing him off balance.
He stumbles, giving her the opening she needs. With a final, powerful lunge, her blade finds its mark, deep and true. The gasp of air leaving his lungs, the sudden clatter of his weapon as it falls from his lifeless grip, the slow thud of his body collapsing. These are the sounds of her vengeance finally achieved. The deafening silence that follows is more profound than any noise, a quiet so complete it feels like the world itself is holding its breath. The acrid smell of gunpowder hangs heavy in the air, a final testament to the brutal climax. She stands over him, chest heaving, a thin trickle of blood running down her arm, the quiet satisfaction a fragile thing amidst the ruins. With her revenge exacted, Rooney exits the compound, leaving behind a trail of chaos and silenced enemies. The alarms are blaring now, a relentless wail piercing the night, but she is already gone, a ghost in the wind. She knows the High Table will be furious, their wrath immense. Her actions have not only avenged her family, but have also carved a significant dent in the established order. She made a statement, not just with her blade, but with her very defiance. The world will remember the ballerina who brought down a titan.
Weeks later, we find Rooney in a quiet, secluded location, a small cabin nestled by a tranquil lake. The only sounds are the gentle lapping of water against the shore, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, and the distant chirping of crickets. The physical wounds are healing, leaving faint scars that serve as a brutal reminder of her journey. But the emotional scars run deeper. She sits by the window, watching the sunrise paint the sky with hues of orange and pink, a solitary figure in a world that is now both free and terrifyingly empty. The weight of her vengeance is gone, replaced by a profound sense of loss and an unsettling uncertainty about her future. The quiet offers a stark contrast to the relentless action she just endured, allowing the true cost of her quest to settle in. She is a woman without a clear path, an assassin without a target, a ballerina whose stage is now eerily silent. Her purpose, once so clear, is now a swirling void. She has fulfilled her promise to her family, but in doing so, she has severed her last ties to a normal life. The High Table will forever be on her trail, a shadow that will never fully disappear. She takes a deep, steadying breath, the cool morning air filling her lungs, a quiet acknowledgement of the new, dangerous chapter stretching before her. Rooney picks up a worn pair of point shoes, turning them over in her hands. The soft leather, the ribbons, the hardened toe, they are symbols of both her past and her present, of the elegance she once embraced, and the lethal grace she has mastered. She has avenged her family, but at what cost? The silence of the cabin is heavy, broken only by the crackle of a small fire in the hearth. Her reflection in the dark window shows a face etched with experience, hardened by battle, but also touched by a flicker of melancholy. She knows her life will never be truly peaceful, not after the path she has walked. But perhaps, in this new, brutal existence, she can find a different kind of purpose, a way to use her skills not just for revenge, but for something more. The sun rises higher, casting long shadows across the floor, and Rooney slowly ties the ribbons of her shoes, ready to step onto whatever stage the world has for her next. Ballerina 2025 delivers a stunningly choreographed blend of elegance and brutality, pushing the John Wick universe into exciting new territory. Ana de Armas truly embodies the lethal grace of Rooney, turning every fight into a captivating, yet utterly devastating dance. It's a stylish, visceral revenge tale that asks a poignant question. What happens after you get what you came for? The film leaves you pondering the enduring cost of vengeance, even when justice is served with such deadly beauty.